Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of SofaTalks. Today I am joined by the lovely Craig Spider Richards.
Jeez, come on.
I'm ready.
My day off.
Your day off. You don't want this. You don't want this.
No smoke. I'm ready. You have more fighters first.
Okay, cool. I'll let you train and warm yourself up.
Come on.
So how are you?
I'm good, I'm good.
Yeah, it's really nice to see you. It's been a long time.
Oh, you as well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a while.
So I really want to start talking more about like where you've kind of come from, because I think it's really important for people to understand your background and really just get an insight into who you are as a person. So, you know, how did you get into boxing?
Do you know what? Like, one of my cousins I used to hang around with a lot. He was going, and I just followed him down the gym. Then he stopped, I carried on. Then I was there for a while, but I was kind of mixed up doing other bits and pieces really. So I wasn't really focusing boxing. Then my other cousin a few years later asked me to come to his gym in the Lynn in Peckham. I was there for a while. I used to go more so for a coach who was there. He used to believe in me, saying I'd always be champion if I stuck to it, but I don't know. I didn't believe him at the time? I didn't believe him. I was thinking, this guy was gassing me. I was thinking, why are you gassing me? What does he want from me? But he used to say, no, trust me, I'll drop you home, I won't charge you subs. So I'm like, alright, so I carried on going, but eventually he had left the gym. So when he left, I was only going for him, so I left as well. Then I was back out doing whatever I was doing. And then years later, I bumped into him again. He then said to me, look, I've opened my own gym now, come down. So I went down with him. I remember then I went to college, I'd done my A-levels. Then I was going to go to university, I was thinking about going to university. But in a year out, I went back to boxing and I saw him. And then I started winning stuff, winning championships, whatnot. Okay. And 3 years later, I got signed to Peter Sims and Matchroom Boxing. And then we're here now, 5 years on. Very
interesting. Do you know what? It's funny because we watched one of your interviews, and in your interviews, you were saying that you lost your paperwork to go to university.
Yeah. Mashed up. Basically, I went to enroll, and then because I was gonna do part time, I saw someone who went to my college, funny enough, and they was doing full time, and they said that they've got one more lesson than I have. So I was like, well, full time's only one more lesson now. Why am I doing part time? So I said, oh look, can I switch? So they were saying fill in your modules. So I done my modules or whatever, what lessons I want to do, like when. And they said hand it into the business block rather than give it in at the front because you're changing from part-time to full-time. So I was like, okay. So I handed that in, went to the lessons for about a week or two, never heard nothing back. I said, hold on, let me make sure I'm full-time. I might be part-time and I'm going to take your lessons unnecessarily. So I got and I said, yeah, like Craig Richards, switched to, look for the paper. Can't find you. What do you mean you can't find me? Like, I just handed my thing in. She's like, no, there's no records of you here. I'm like, what are you talking about? So, cut long story short, she wanted me to re-enroll everything again, but the deadline was so close. I was like, let me just leave this and I'll come back next year. So that's why I went back to boxing to pastime for a year. So I saw my man used to come to the gym. I said, you know what? I might as well go to the gym. I've got nothing to do for a year. You know, it's like if you're doing nothing, you're going to end up doing foolishness. So I thought, let me have a focus, went to boxing, started doing well, so on. I thought, you know what, I could do something here, And I remember I spoke to my mum, I said, you know what, mum, I'm going to do boxing. She started laughing, like, what are you talking about? Going to university? I said,
because from a black woman's perspective,
she was
coming
like,
into this industry.
Like, come on, don't be silly. I was like, no, seriously. She goes, alright, if you used to go to uni, 3 years, 4 years, you graduate, you get a job. What are you going to do for 3-4 years? Because you're not going to get paid that much in boxing. I said, look, mum, I'm going to win this, win the box cup, win this, 3 years today, I'm going to get done with a turnover. She wrote it all on the paper. She still got the papers today in her room. She wrote it all down. I done what I said I'd do. In 3 years to that day, I got signed, turned pro. And she said, you know what? I'll take my hat off to you because you said you was going to do it and you done it. And obviously at the time I had little arguments with my granddad, my dad. I see my granddad on the Sunday for dinner. He heard one day I was having passion and tune. He said, listen, you can't do it on a Sunday. Get to my house at 3 o'clock every Sunday and sorted me out properly. So when I used to go around there, they used to give me stick like, listen, it's not realistic, you're not going to get signed, look where you're coming from, you're not going to get signed.
Because there's so many people trying.
So yeah, so look how much people want to be a boxer. Why are you going to get signed? So I'm not saying you're not good, but think about being realistic. Just get yourself a job, whatever. I said, no, I'm going to do this. So they thought I was deluded. 3 years today, I got turned over. My dad said, you know what? Yeah, I'll rate you. I'll take my hat off to you. Said, you said I didn't believe in you, but you showed me. And then obviously my granddad, before he died, before my first title fight, I remember when I visited him, and he had my poster on the wall, and he was just like, he said, how's boxing? I said, yeah, it's good. He said, you getting paid yet? I said, Granddad, I'm professional now. I said, good. You didn't know, man, a few words.
See, it must be so reassuring to be able to go back to your family and say, look, you guys didn't believe it, but I told you.
I know, and then he wanted to come to a fight, but obviously he was quite ill at the time. So obviously he passed away before he got to come to a fight. But it was just reassuring that I knew, when I saw the poster about Upper Lee's favourite chair, I knew I got his approval. So I was like, so, but then obviously since then, moving forward with my pro career, all my family support me all the time. My mum, my sister's calm, my cousins, the lot, they're always there shouting loud at ringside. So yeah, it's been good. They're bigger supporters now. Although obviously I had to make them believers.
You had to show them.
Yeah,
to prove
it's like
yourself,
anything. You know, like if you've not seen someone else do it, or it's not an often thing someone does, automatically you're not going to say they can't do it because you're being a hater. It's just that you care about that person. You don't start setting their bench that they're not going to realistically do. So they were trying to look out for me, but I had to show them that, trust me, I've got this.
So what made you so different to everybody else? Because, you know, we've grown up in the same area, there's a lot of people that are trying to get into boxing, and to be fair, some of them are doing well.
Yeah.
Not quite where you are, but you know, they're pushing through. But what has separated you from everybody else?
I think one thing I've had more than everyone else from days work ethic is crazy. My work ethic, my focus is different. Obviously, come where we're coming from, you know the sort of lives we live. We go parties, we thingy. A lot of people, they smoke, they drink, they socialise. For me, I literally cut out the whole lifestyle of partying, drinking, going bed late, doing all-nighters, gave up my social life. And you know, obviously you're young, it's hard to do that. But I've done that to dedicate myself to the gym. As I said, when I was an amateur, and then just when I came off of everything, I was away from all the previous life, I was then just in the gym. Like my last year at amateurs, I was in the gym, just making ends meet, doing a bit of PT hearing and stuff. And I was training 9 o'clock in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, going home, resting and going to my amateur club 7 till 10 in the evening all year. And I'm not getting paid, I'm paying to go to that gym, then I'm paying to go to that gym. So the year of dedication, 6 days a week, to do that, you're paying out and you ain't really got much income, you're just making it happen.
A lot of people can't do that.
No one wouldn't sacrifice. And you know, like, being obviously where we're from, there's an expectation to live a certain lifestyle.
Yes.
You know, everyone wants to keep
nice
up.
Cars.
Everyone nice cars, going out, popping bottles. So you're going from keeping up with people to now having to sit on the back burner for a while and stay focused and not getting drawn out to saying, you know what, I need to keep up.
Yeah.
You got to just believe in what you're doing, willing to keep your head down. Don't worry about anyone else's journey or their lane, and just know that you're in it for the long goal. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's a sacrifice that people wasn't willing to make what I made. And then moving forward from that, that's why like my amateur career was quite short, but it was intense. So like I was winning things early. There's like basically you get like under 10s, under 20s, elites. From when I was just getting from the under 10s, I went straight to elites. So I'm boxing guys at GB, the Olympic boys, from 10 fights in. So although I had 22 fights, my last 12 is fighting the top opposition. So I'm learning on the job. So the time I turned professional, I was ready to do that again. Yeah. So then I had hard fights, like from my full fight, I'm fighting guys who just box for Southern Areas against guys who 13-0. For my full fight, knocking them out in a round. 6-7 fights in, I'm boxing guys with double my experience, 12-0, 6 knockouts, who's way bigger amateur pedigrees than me, and I'm headlining on Sky. And they're saying to me the month before, look, see when you take your first loss, don't worry about it, you'll bounce back. I'm like,
they're trying to prepare you for like, excuse me, you know who I am?
I'm like,
I'm Craig Richards.
You're looking at the bookings, odds are so down for you to win. They're like, he's never gonna win.
Did you ever get nervous though? Would you ever like, oh, I might lose this one?
You know what, that fight specifically, I knew I was up against it. He's come for a good win. He was 12-0, 6 knockouts. I've only had 6-7 fights and I've only done 1 6-rounder. He's done 10 rounders and that.
Yeah. And
then his amateur pedigree, he had beat some really good names that was big in boxing now. And I was like, I knew how good he was, but I was training really hard. But the problem with that fight, I had a chest infection. I was coughing and spitting blood 3 weeks before the fight. So I'm on antibiotics. But the trainer's like, look, I don't care. I'm not going to feel sorry for you because he ain't going to feel sorry for you.
God.
You are going to go and do 10 round sparring now. I don't care. You are going for your run.
Wow.
Like, this ain't a sport where people feel sorry for you. So I had to just push through, coughing, spitting blood, training, and I got in there for my first 10 round down. I remember like after 7 rounds thinking, you know what, that training paid off, I feel alright. And we had a
That sounds like torture, Craig. To me that sounds like torture.
It's part of the game.
Like modern slavery.
Nah, you know what, this game ain't for the faint hearted,
No.
I'll be honest. And I remember going in there, we had a really good scrap, and I won my first title, I beat him. I felt like in a Rocky film, you know, like, lifting the title. And it was rewarding, but it's like them sort of hard fights is what's put me instead to where I am now. Do you know, I've never took the easy route. I've just always gone, you know what I'm saying? I'm kicking the door down, kicking the door down, kicking the door down. And even like some guys I boxed when I first turned pro, because they was Olympians and stuff, their faces on the poster. You might see my name in the bottom corner for shows, if I'm lucky. Sometimes my name won't even on the poster, I'm all posting the other guy's poster to say I'm on this show. Going down the line, 6 fights.
What does that do to your morale? Like when you're going into a fight and your face is like that and they've got
you don't even got a face, you just name, you see Craig Richards in the corner featuring.
I would go in feeling already nervous.
No, but you know what it is for me, I just knew the big picture. I said, you know what, if you believe in yourself, same thing. You just got to keep kicking the door down and eventually the time will change. And you're not getting, I always believe, if you're not getting the recognition or anything you deserve, you're just not working hard enough. So eventually you'll get it as long as you're working hard. Yeah. So 6 fights down the line after all of that used to happen, they then matched me against that poster boy who used to always be on the poster, Jake Ball. And yet again, the bookies had me basically second to none. My second title fight, and I knocked him out within 3 rounds. Wow. And I pushed on again. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like I've always beat the odds. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's a thing that, you know, one thing I've learned with this boxing or anything in life.
He was kind of like the underdog.
Always the underdog. Even my last fight for the British title, I think it was like 7-1 or 10-1 for me just to knock him out. Like, you're getting 10 times your money. It was so unrealistic to them for me to knock him out. And yet again, I saw it. My friend rang me laughing. He said, "Yes, they've slept on you again." I'm like, money! Yes, we're gonna make money. I was like,
okay, so next time you're fighting, let me know because I'm gonna put some money on there.
A lot of people want money, but I won't talk about it.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
But listen, looking at your statistics, have you really only had 1 loss?
Yeah.
1 loss.
And that's the fight I took on 5 days' notice. See, this is what I mean about taking opportunities. I was gonna fight a few weeks before, just a 6-rounder tick-over fight. The fight didn't happen. On the Tuesday, Eddie rang and said, "Look, if you want to come Belfast, I can get you out of 4 rounds."
Can you tell them who Eddie is?
Eddie Hearn's the promoter, the biggest promoter in the world.
I mean, I knew who Eddie was, but just for anyone else who didn't know who Eddie was, yeah.
So he said, "Look, on the Tuesday, he said, look, I can get you out 4-rounder. Belfast, on my Belfast show, are you fit enough?" We're like, "Yeah." So we've flown over to Belfast, done the 4-rounder. I stopped the guy in 3 rounds. He had his big show the next week, the Anthony Joshua fight. At the time, Anthony Joshua, I can't remember who he was meant to fight, but his opponent pulled out and it switched to Tacken, Sky Sports box office. And then Frank Buglioni was the weight above me. He was meant to box Callum Johnson. So after a 12-week camp, 11 weeks in now, with a week left to go on that weekend, Callum Johnson ended up in hospital. So it was a box office show. So Eddie's like, "What am I going to do? Because it's box office. I can't pull another card." AJ just pulled his opponent. I can't pull a title fight off it because that can change from being a box office show to a Sky Sport. Yeah. Do you want to fill in? I said, "What, next week?" He's like, "Look, money will be good, opportunity. Look, you're nowhere near the British at the moment. You win that, your whole career changes. Okay. You know, you got. I won't hold it against you if you don't take it because I know it's a big ask." At the time, I was campaigning at super middleweight, which was the weight below of what he was asking me to do. Yeah. I've never boxed 12 rounds. I only had that 1 10-round title fight at this time. I said, "Look, let me think of it." I was in the bar. We was at the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning having this conversation. I said, "Look."
You wasn't drinking, was you?
No. Okay. I was there with my apple juice. So I said, "Look, let me go to bed. If I am gonna take this fight, let me go to bed and think on it." So I went to bed and I said, "You know what? What's the worst that can happen?" Nah, I don't mind. I like the fighting aspect. The only thing I get worried about is not raising my arm. And I said, "But life's about taking risks. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward." So I woke up in the morning and I just knocked my manager's door. I said, "Yeah, tell Andy I'm taking this." "Did you take him?" I said, "Yeah, let's just go." So we was in Ireland at the time. We flew back Sunday night. I trained Monday and Tuesday, just 2 quick sessions, and then I had to go Wednesday. I had to go to the public workout, Thursday press conference, Friday public weigh-in and fight Saturday. So I trained 2 sessions for my first 12 round at the weight above against the British champion. Who was 23 fights in, 15 knockouts at the time, and I was only 10-0. But I thought, you know what? I can do this here. And I remember we boxed 3rd round. I did hurt him, But I remember when he won the British 2 fights before that, he knocked the guy out in the 11th or 12th round. Okay. So I knew he stayed fit and strong all the way through.
He's got good endurance.
Good endurance, good engine. But I said to myself, if I press it now and I don't get him out and I'm tired, I'm going to be vulnerable. So the whole time in my head, I'm just thinking, you haven't trained for this. You haven't trained for this. Think about what you're doing. You haven't trained for this. Don't press it. Don't press it. Don't press it. So I'm kind of letting the rounds go by sometimes. Yeah. Got to the 10th 11th round, like, you need to pick this up. You're just letting rounds go through. So I picked it back up. Obviously, it's too late by the time I picked it back up. Come up short. I think on the score, I was 116, 113. Come up short on points. But I learned. I didn't look at it like, oh, I took that on 5 days' notice. I thought, what are the other aspects I could have done to be at that level? Yeah. And I went to the gym, and then I decided to move up in weight in light heavyweight. Okay. So I then started competing at the weight. That's the weight I'm at now. And then I remember my first 3 back, I knocked everyone out within 3 rounds, got the title fight, knocked him out within 3 rounds, got world rankings, and then I pushed on. That's when I got Sterling, etc., etc. So it was, my only loss was the one I took on 5 days' notice, but sometimes you've got to take them risks to learn in life.
So how did it feel? Because obviously you have got a career where you've literally just been so successful all the way through. You've only got 1 loss, which is amazing, but how did that loss make you feel when you went through that experience?
I remember afterwards, because obviously I was campaigned to be knocked out because everyone was like, he's not even the right weight, he's inexperienced, whatever. And I remember when I walked out the ring, I was so irritated because obviously when you got a winner's mentality, you want to win, you're not there to make the numbers. Yeah. And I remember all the fans in the arena, because I remember it was an 80,000 seated arena, but when I boxed, I was the first TV, so it was about 50,000 in there. And I remember I was walking out and all the fans was like, grabbing me, can I have a picture, can I have a picture? And I'm like, I just lost. No, maybe you see what happened. I wasn't the guy. Yeah. But it was like a really good fight. You put up a good, like, we didn't know we thought you was gonna get stopped. Like, you're an operator, we knew you took it on short days' notice. And I remember even after that, I was like, I can't believe I lost. I remember going out shopping the next week, and people was like, Craig Richards, Spider, the one who boxed Boogie, can I get a picture? Big fan. I was like, hold on. I'm 10-0. People just walk past me in the street. I'm unbeaten 10-0, so no one gives a damn about me. When I lose, now everyone wants a picture. I was like, what sort of sense this make? So to be honest, off of that,
it turned into a positive.
It turned into a positive because my profile blew. Because everyone knows, even if you don't watch boxing, you know Anthony Joshua. Yeah. A casual's tuned into Anthony Joshua. So I put a good account about myself on an Anthony Joshua platform. Wow. So that's when my name obviously got more notice being on the pay-per-view of Anthony Joshua. So it weren't all necessarily a bad thing.
And what does it feel like? Because I've always wanted to know. What does it feel like knocking someone out?
Oh, it's the best feeling. No, actually,
I can imagine. It must be really like.
Yeah. Nah, it's really good. It's the best feeling. It's like in boxing, it's the ultimate way to win, isn't it? Yeah. So it's like you can win on points or whatever. You knock someone out, it's the very best way you could have won the fight. So it just makes you feel good because it's rewarding for all your hard work. You know
do you ever just knock them out and then you think, oh, are they going to be alright? Do you ever get worried?
I should say yeah. So I'm going to pretend to that. No,
you don't. I think that's probably a female's mentality. Yeah. So I'd be thinking, I'll knock them out and I'll be like, oh.
You don't want anyone to be seriously hurt. Yeah. You know, some people, you want them to go home to their families and stuff. They're just doing a job. But you do want to you do want the knockout to be good because you're like, it shows, look at my power, look he's out, you know, but at the same time you want him to get back up and go home and be able to go see his family, he might have kids or whatnot. So you don't want to end up seriously injured, you just want to knock them out for the time being till they miss the count.
So kind of going back to when you was younger, you know, you've come from, we both grew up in the same area and, you know, there was a lot of violence, a lot of gangs and stuff like that, so for you, how did you emerge from that? And, you know, how did you stay on that straight and narrow path? Because you talked about, you know, not going out and drinking and stuff like that. You must have had people around you that wanted you to continue, but...
It was hard. It's hard at first because the transition is, you know what it's like in our area. You always in some mix-up because of this guy or your friends don't like them friends and whatnot. You're associated with them. So, like, when I was making the transition, it's just like old stuff kept coming back. So you always got something to sort out. So eventually it was hard, and then just one day it's just like I just put my head down. I wasn't even available to be active. Like I'm in the gym, like constantly. I'm just in the gym, my head down in the gym. That's just my focus. Yeah. So it's like you're ringing me for a party, I'm just not even on it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, because I used to drink, and it got to a point when I took boxing serious, I stopped, and like, I was more of a people's person around my friends. I was always bubbly, I'd have a drink, I was the guy, like, I was the sociable one, so like, if these guys are over there and we're over here, I'll probably, yo, you got, so I'll end up mixing, like, I'm the guy who makes everyone mix, so my friends always want to bring me out because I'm the guy, like, make things happen, but I was the fun one, but it got to a couple nights when I stopped drinking where I went out a couple times early in my career when I was making the transition. And I remember sitting there, I wasn't drinking, I remember just like, well, till this rave finishes.
This is not for me anymore.
I was clock watching, my friends like, yo, what's going on with you, bro? You're a bit quiet today, what's going on? And I'm like, no, I'm good, you know. And they're like, you're not black. I'm like, no, I'm alright. No. He's like, I see I'm enjoying myself, it's fun, what time you say this stuff?
Like, that was interesting. We met at a barbecue.
Oh, didn't it?
Yeah, we actually met at a barbecue.
Yeah, this is what
and you weren't drinking then?
Nah, this is what I'm saying.
Everyone else was drunk though.
Everyone else, that's what I'm saying. Then I started playing the, what's the word for it? It's like I was the parent role.
Yeah, so you got to look after them.
They were drunk, oh, get in the car.
So you're like the group dad.
Yeah, I was like, this is getting long. Every week, I'm having to stop this madness, I'm having to bring him home. Yeah. I'm like, this is not an ideal Saturday night out or Friday night. So I just thought, why am I even going? You're not even enjoying yourself anymore. You're not. This is now like work. So I said, you know what? You're not even. And that was a good thing though, because if I literally tried to stop going out from drinking, having a turn up, to stop him, I'll be picturing the raving as that.
Yeah.
So, but now because I've had the boring times of not drinking and going out, I know what it was like.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not really missing anything. I know I've done it. I've experienced life. I've been through it all. I've kind of drunk. I've been partying. I've then come to a phase that I've lived. So I'm not missing anything. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm at a different stage in my life, different focus. Yeah. And my mentality is different. Even the last few times I was like going out, my friends would go to the toilet, so I'd be in the corner. Throw that rap. You know, hello. Yeah, I'm thinking about training, and I'm thinking, hold on, I'm not even here right now. I'm like, let me just go home, because I'm thinking, you know what? If I don't get back at 2,
then you won't get enough time in to train.
Maybe I get a run in tonight. 45. So I realised, my head's not even here. So I just,
So you literally live, breathe training.
Yeah.
So how? Okay, I want to talk about your personal life. How do you get time to have any personal time for yourself? And I know you're quite family orientated, so.
But even like my last camps or so, I've not even really got to see my family. So like, I'll just be in my place on my own. I'll go to training, get up early morning. If I'm not running, because I'm running in Essex, I'll go up there, do my first session. We go to the gym, we do our circuit training. Then we'll go for breakfast. Then we come back, and then we box all day for the afternoon. Then we'll chill, then I might have strength in the evening. So if I've got strength in the evening, then I'll go home, sleep for 20 minutes, power nap, get dressed, go gym, then I'll go back home, have my dinner, go sleep, up in the morning, same again. So that's what I do 5 days a week. Then the Saturday I might just do like a long run and a bit of strength, and then I rest the rest of the day. I've got the rest of the day off. Sunday I got off. Then Monday I hit the drawing board again. So if I've got any time, I sleep. Do you get what I'm saying? I just sleep, because my body's, the intensity of the workouts, we're not doing those stylist workouts either, like the sessions are so intense. Some days I'm literally thinking, how am I even moving right now? Like, I swear, like I'm going to bed in the night, knowing what in the morning, I'm thinking, no, this is crazy. How am I getting through tomorrow morning? Like my body's in zombie mode.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about myself. If I work out, I know the next day I can't work out.
Yeah, no, you might be working out in 20 minutes. And the worst thing for me, I drive like 45 to an hour to training.
Yeah.
Then I might drive an hour and 20 to strength. Then I'm driving an hour home. So if I'm not
and the driving's also you're using your brain, so that's
so I'm driving, training, sleeping, eating. That's the only thing I do for the day. So when I get the weekend, I don't really want to socialise. So people are like, oh, should we catch up? And I'm like,
no. No, thank you.
I'm good, but I've got to take my mum shopping. I'm joking. I'm really taking my mum.
You probably, you use that excuse. It's on camera now, but I don't know what you're going to say.
I'll fix myself. But I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just want to sleep. And then that's why, like, after the fight now, I've got a bit of time to just train. Like, earlier I've trained today, but it's not intense like camp. I'm not 3-4 sessions, so I can come, I can do this, I can go chill out. You know what I'm saying? You've got time to be a human again.
Yeah.
But when you hit camp
You're not like a human. So when you're at camp as well, because I've heard a lot of people talk about camp.
Yeah.
So is it like a camp? Is it actually
No,
like
I
a
call it camp
experience?
because like when we got a fight, the training leading up to that week is different. As I said, see that schedule I said, that's my training schedule for camp. So I might do that for 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever.
But are you doing it at home?
No.
So you're still living at home, but you'll go and train.
So sometimes, like my last couple of weeks, I stay in Essex.
Yeah.
So my manager's got his place. I go over there, I stay there, and I stay with him for the last couple of weeks. It saves me driving and all that and traveling. Sense. So he stops the commuting. So sometimes I stay. He's in camp, but when I'm in camp, don't ask me to come out. Don't ask me to socialise. Forget it. So like now, although I'm training, I'm not in camp. So you get what I'm saying? So I'm flexible. I can do a little run. I can do a bit of boxing, then I can go out. So I'm just maintaining fitness. In camp is intense.
So is your training all throughout the year? When do you break from training? When do you have like a holiday?
So usually I have 1 week off and then I go back to training. But this one, because I had little niggles and that in injury, I had like 3-4 weeks this time where I didn't really do much. So it was only like a week or two ago I started doing my runs and started training again now for the last couple of weeks. This is probably the longest break I had in terms, but then because I know I'm going back into camp next week, I made sure this last couple of weeks I prepared my body so it's not going straight in and getting shocked. Yeah. So
what is your diet like? What do you eat on a daily basis?
To be fair, I've changed my diet a lot. I used to diet like a person on a Weight Watchers regime. But when you're training so hard, it's not good for your body. You need fuel, you need energy. So I don't really diet. What I do is I just, like my portions and that are normal and everything. I just eat. I just don't eat rubbish. Right. So I won't be eating chips and burger and that. I might have curry and rice and peas and coleslaw, but I just have that like, that will be like my treats, or usually I've got the meal team, shout out the meal team, they do my meal preps. Lovely. So they might do a couple vegan dishes.
I want a meal team.
Yes,
I would love to have someone prepping my meals, that's amazing.
They're very good. They might do me like a couple meal, like vegan chickpea curries or whatever. Then they might do me some chicken, rice and peas dishes. They might do me some fish and sweet potato and veg. Lovely. But they always give me a carb, veg, protein. Yeah. So I have them throughout the week, meal prep, so it's easy. So when I go training, when I finish my session, I just bring it, put it in the microwave, pull warm shower, jump out, I've got food on the go. Do you get what I'm saying? Like proper food constantly throughout when I'm training. And then in the night, I'll just have a dinner. So I'll have that after another session, shower and that. When I go to bed, I might have whatever I want to have, my dinner, cook a meal or whatever, and then go to bed. So
do you make sure that you eat at specific times, or is it just how you feel?
No, like you'll eat at times, like if I knew I've had a heavy training session, or then I know I've got a refuel afterwards, or if I know I've got something heavy in the morning, then I might eat the night before a certain meal to carb load to get ready for that. So it just kind of depends on your schedule, depends on what you'll eat. Do you get what I'm saying? But you'll never be eating all cakes and chocolates and that throughout the camp, and you never eat that. You just eat food, like proper food, anything that's going to be good for you.
Yeah, sugar is not good for you.
No, you don't want to put unnecessarily weight on. You know, you've got a certain weight limit. You're bringing your weight down to. You want to make sure everything in that weight is goodness to bring you into that fight.
How often do you get weighed?
No, well, I weigh every week really and check my weight. But we got a specific weigh in the day before the fight. Yeah. So then you got to make the weight, and if you don't make the weight, then you either not fight or you don't fight for the title.
So when you say you've got to make the weight, you've got to physically be at that weight. But why would you not make that weight? Just trying to understand it.
For instance, if I say to you now, you've got a beauty competition next month, and you've got to be exactly 1 stone lighter than you are today. Yep. So you're training to make that. If you ain't that stone lighter, then you ain't gonna be able to compete. Okay. So if you literally can't make the weight through what you're doing, then you're out. Do you get what I'm saying?
Has that ever happened to you?
Never to me. I'm quite professional. I'm always professional. So I've seen it happen to loads of people, or they've had to go and skip because they get an hour to now make the weight, and they've got 5 pounds to lose. And you'll see them with bin liners on. They're skipping. Yeah, like.
Is that healthy? I mean.
You'll see them. They come back. Some people got red faces. Some people are drawn in. They're hitting there, trying to hit the scales. You're like, it's mad.
That's manic.
But I don't want to put myself in that position. So that's why I chip away. You know your body. You know how much you lose in your sleep. You know how much you lose in a training session, and you got to calculate it right to bring it down to the weighing age. You know, be comfortable. Yeah.
So you know, you talked a lot about discipline and being really quite strict with yourself. Coming up, and for anyone who's trying to get into the boxing industry,
don't do it. No, I'm joking.
I was just going to say, what is, apart from that, what has been the most difficult thing for you? What has been the struggle, apart from obviously the being determined and not drinking and socialising?
Well, this is what I'm saying, it's peer pressure and peers, and that's what I'm saying, because you're starting out in anything, you're starting with zero. So it's like, to be able to start with zero and not worry about your friends who might be doing better than you at the time, or having a certain image, or guys, for instance, want to impress girls, so they need money, they need to do this, they need to be like that. You might not be able to do all that stuff starting out in your career. So you've just got to literally zone in and understand your lane, and don't worry about what anyone else thinks. Because eventually you'll get to your goals, and all that will come. Just focus on what you're doing. So I just say, don't worry about the peer pressures of others outside.
And how important is like your management, or even your family, you know, your support system? How important is that for your success?
So important. Like my manager, he knows me so well. So he's quite good at like not just preparing you physically, mentally. He knows when you're feeling a certain way, how to make you feel a certain way. I remember, like, prime example, my first fight, my debut, I was walking out, and I remember, like, I saw the crowd, and I thought, oh, there's my auntie. Oh, yeah, all them people I sold tickets to, they're really here.
That's so cute.
Oh my gosh, what if I lose? Oh my gosh. I've told them,
Start getting nervous.
I'm told them on the next big thing, and I've got to show it now. You're like, oh damn. And then, like, I remember he just turned around to me and he said, oh, why are you nervous? I said, huh? He's like, what are you nervous for? I said, what do you mean? He's like, you're nervous. Mate, you're a talent. You're a talented fighter. You've done the hard work. He said, today is just about going to show what you've been doing in the gym. He's like, don't worry about that. F me, F everyone here. You get one debut. Go out and enjoy it, mate. And I remember, like, alright, I'm walking out thinking, yeah, F all of you. This is my debut.
All of you. I know what I'm doing.
This is my debut. Yeah, go out and enjoy it. And I remember I got in the ring, I felt confident, and then my first fight, I remember I knocked the guy in 40 something seconds, and he's like, see, told you, mate. And I was like, oh yeah. So it's like, he knows how to get in your head, mentally calm you down, relax you, then make you believe in yourself, make the right moves, the right fights at the right time. That's all part of your management. Picture fights, accepts fights. So if you haven't got a good manager and you've got a good relationship with, it becomes difficult. I know people's careers have gone pear-shaped because they're falling out their managers, they're stuck in contracts, they don't want to be a manager, they're falling out personal reasons, and they just, it's all gone, their career's gone downhill. So it's very important to have a good manager.
So how did you find your manager?
It's funny.
Find you?
It's funny actually, because I remember at the time I was looking for, they had a few offers of trainers and managers, and I remember a boy said to me like, oh, that guy Peter Sims, you should go to someone like him. I said, yeah, he's gonna probably take me, like, I don't know how to get in touch with him. He's like, do you know, I've got his number, do you want to text him, tell him? I'll text him next week. I said, alright, cool, but he didn't. He texted him there at the show, but I didn't know. So he said, oh, Pete said, I sent him your record, sent him your stuff, he's interested, he said, come see him on Monday. So I went and saw him on Monday. He said, oh, what are you doing now? I said, look, I've got another fight this weekend. He said, you know, I'm going to come and watch you. So I was like, okay, cool. And he would come and watch me, and funny enough, I didn't get the decision. I felt like I won the fight, and I didn't get the decision. I thought, that's my chance blown. Yeah, and he's like, see you later, mate, I'll give you a call. And I was like, see you later. I was like,
oh, he's deflated.
I was like, I'm done. And I remember he rang me on Monday, and he's like, how are you feeling? You still a bit upset, feeling sorry for yourself? I said, oh yeah, I'm still a bit upset. But he said, no, it doesn't matter, mate. He said, look, I saw you the talent. I thought it was a bad decision. I thought you won the fight. I still want to sign you. Do you want to sign? I was like, yeah.
See, there's always a silver lining, isn't there?
And he's like, are you free between like the 8th of April and the 30th?
He's like, I'm free whenever you want.
I was like, yeah, I'm free. He goes, oh, cool. Well, I've booked you a trip. We're going to book you a trip. Send me your passport details. We're going to Marbella. I'm taking you out for training camp. X is paid for. Let's go. I was like, oh, is this the pro life? I was like, I'm getting used to this. And we went Marbella. We trained out at the MGM gym. And then obviously, because I didn't have a good amateur pedigree and I lost in the championships, originally him trying to put me with Eddie, now he's like, it's going to be hard for me to put you with Eddie, but you're a talent, so maybe match box on a couple other shows and then get with Eddie. So I said, yeah, no problem, whatever I got to do. So, cut long story short, one boy on Eddie's show 3 weeks before he was meant to fight, then him and the manager fell out, whatever, he came off the show. I came into the gym one day, he's like, I spoke to Eddie, he said you can make your debut on his show. I've told him about you and whatever, he said he wants to have a look at you. I said, 3 weeks. I said, no, I won't be ready. He's like, are you alright? And he said, I said, what are you talking about? He goes, knock, knock. I said, who's there? He said, opportunity. He goes, can't be opportunity. Opportunity don't knock twice, yeah? So I started laughing. He said, no, seriously. Eddie Hearn said you can make your debut on his show. Yeah. Like, if you're worried about getting ready, I'll get you ready. Don't worry about that. So I said, are you sure? I want to make my debut look good. Like, I want to be prepared. Like, he's like, trust me, you need this opportunity. So I said, okay, I trusted him. I took the fight. And that's when I stopped him in 47 seconds. And Eddie was like, oh, this kid, he look good. Like, let's put him on again. So he put me on again. And he's like, boom, yeah, signed me to Matchroom Boxing. So it was a blessing, the silver lining, you know, everything would just fall into place. That's why I kind of felt like the boxing was kind of my plan, like God's plan. Because, like, coincidentally, someone falls off the show.
Yeah,
I feel in.
Everything just happens.
You know, it was just fall into place. It's just something that you couldn't have planned or is out of your control. So, yeah, that's how it kind of.
You've been in the right place at the right time.
There we go.
For several different things.
Yeah.
So, where do you see your boxing career taking you? What is your next step?
Like, I'm trying to aim towards the world titles. That's where I want to go. So I'm world ranked in 2 world title governing bodies, top 10. I'm number 8 in the world. So I've been trying to push on, obviously, to get to that number 1 to fight for the world title. At this point, when you're top 10, you can get an opportunity at any time.
Right.
So I've been top 10 for like 2 years now. So any time the phone could ring, but I kind of wanted to crown to be the best in the whole of Britain before I moved to world. So that's what the last fight was, for the British title, to crown that I'm the best in Britain. Yeah. And now I've done that, I want to push on to newer things, my ultimate goal, which is world titles.
And we know you're going to do it. We know you're going to do it. Even when I spoke to you, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Think about where you was there, and it's only been 2 years.
It's only been this is what I'm saying. I'm having a local scrap derby, then I'm scrapping to be the best in Britain. Now, hopefully, God willing, I'm scrapping to be the best in the world.
Definitely. Yeah. So I want to talk to you a bit about COVID, because I feel like we can't have interviews without talking about COVID.
Yeah.
How is it? Yeah. No, he's got his merch.
And we measure 2 meters.
Yeah, 2 meters distance. How is it affecting you, and how is it affecting you and your career, and also your training? Is it having an impact on you?
When COVID first came out, it was a nightmare, because before it was announced as COVID, I caught COVID in the February, and I had my British title fight March. Right. But my manager, obviously back then we knew it was in other countries, but my manager was in Spain, and he came over, and I think he put in the gym, all of us caught it. We was out for weeks, and I was in a bad way, my breathing, I was getting tired, I couldn't walk up the stairs. So I ended up having to pull out the show on March, which was upsetting, it was disheartening. Then afterwards, I finally got better. I was back in the gym for 1 week, and then we went on a national lockdown. So then we had no shows, no boxing. We didn't know what to do. I started doing bike riding to maintain my time every week, done charity rides, we done London to Bournemouth, etc. We just kept busy. Yeah. And then eventually boxing started opening up behind closed doors, few shows limited, and then eventually obviously I got the British title shot, November, then that got cancelled, then in December, and then I fought. But now I feel like we've been in the pandemic so long, we're making the right adjustments to know how to work our schedule around this whole pandemic, because as an elite athlete we're allowed to work. Right. So so now work's back on for us, but we went a year without no work.
It's madness, isn't it?
Nah.
So in terms of work being back on for you, so you can go and train in your gyms.
Yeah.
Are they just for elite athletes?
My gym's a private gym anyway.
Right. Okay.
So unless you're signed to the Matchroom Elite Gym, either Tony Sims or Peter Sims, you won't come to the gym anyway unless we've called you in for sparring. So we open up, we go in the gym, we train, we're kind of doing like, if it's pad work, 1x1s coming in, or 2x2, one in the bag, one in the pads or whatever, or we're doing our runs and that in the morning together. So we're still training in our gym as normal. It just makes it difficult using other gyms for strength and conditioning. Right. You can't go outside to gyms, things like that. That's hard. And then obviously, you just gym home really.
So what about fights and upcoming fights? Are these still being scheduled, or what's happening?
So like previously, as I just fought December, it was behind closed doors, so you weren't allowed no crowds. So
is that weird?
Yeah, and then you got to quarantine for a week in the hotel, so you got to get tested on arrival. You're not allowed to leave your room until you get your results back the next day. Then once you get your results back, you're allowed in the hotel, but you're not allowed to leave the hotel. And then you stay there all week, do your weigh and do your fight, and then once you fought, then you can go about your business, go home.
It's very intense.
Yeah, it's intense. And now I think moving forward, now we just hit another lockdown. It'll be the same procedures.
Yeah.
Because end of last year they was going to do limited crowds in London because we went to tier 2. So there was limited crowds, but now we've gone back up to tier 4 or 5.
Who knows?
Who knows? Some tiers are not allowed anything. So we're back in these tiers. So now we're not allowed crowds again. So it's all behind closed doors again.
Yeah. But in terms of your financial side of it, will you still get the finance? Because I'm assuming you get a lot of money from tickets being sold.
Basically, this is where the problems arise in boxing, for instance. With footballers, they're on set wage, weekly wage. They're getting paid. With boxing, it's like how much revenue do you channel to the show? Right. So like, if you got a big support network to the promoters, you're more valuable because you bring me a lot of money in, you get good views on the TV, which they get money in, so your value goes up.
Right.
But in this instant, it's like the promoters are like, we're having to pay you out of our pocket now, yeah? But we're getting a lot of money from TV. So for example, if I box on Sky, they got television in the zone in America, they're getting a lot of TV revenue. So their money's not really affected as much. Of course, it's been effective if you're in arenas anyway, but they're still getting revenue. So they're having to take a little bit hit because we obviously still need to get paid. But at the same time, some fights you might get a little hit as well. But like for example, when I box for the British, there's a thing called purse bids, right? So I'll break it down to you just quickly. So what it is your fight goes out, this guy's fighting this guy for the title, yeah? Who wants to put it on their show? Whoever puts the biggest bid in for these guys, to pay these guys the most money, gets the fight on their show. So, and then that money goes to us. So there's an envelope that opens at 12 o'clock with all the promoters, so no one knows what anyone's bidded. It's not like eBay. So they open it up at 12 o'clock, look at the figures, he's bidding the most, it's on your show, Channel 5 or whatever, or Sky, whoever wins. So for us, before the national lockdown, we went to purse bids in this November, December, way before the pandemic. So Channel 5 put a big bid in for us to fight. So that then is our purse. So then after that, we've hit in lockdown. So a year later, although the fight's taken ages, we're still guaranteed that money.
Right.
So now it doesn't matter if you're taking a loss, that's not my business. You've took my fight on your show because I'm guaranteed this money. You need your money. So in terms of the last fight for a title fight, I never got hit.
Okay.
So now it's just negotiating the next fights. You're trying to like not get hit. Or if it's a big title fight, it can generate, you got to be a bit reasonable because the promoter don't want to just be paying loads out of his pocket, taking loads of hits at the same time. So it's just trying to find a middle balance where you take a little hit, he takes a little hit for you to go out and fight.
Luckily, it's not impacting. So there is an impact, but it's luckily not too much of an impact in the sense, because I was just trying to understand whether if you're not going out there and having public fights, are you even going to, get the financial backing that you need? So
the thing is, like if you're with a big promoter, as Eddie Hearn, because they get, as I said, so much TV revenue, it doesn't affect you so much. If you're with a small promoter, their money sheerly offers tickets. So they have no reason to put you out because they're going to make no money. They don't have no TV backing. So like 70% of the boxers ain't boxing at all. No. So a lot of them not even in the gym. So then even so, like journeymen, like when people box guys who are rubbish against really good prospects, because it's TV, no one wants to watch that. No one's going to cancel their Friday night to watch a fight they know is going to win. So the thing is, the journeyman's been taken out of the picture, so they're also not boxing. So now everyone wants to see 50-50 fights on TV, prospect versus prospect. So the fights have got harder in the pandemic for boxers. Everyone's finding out who's who. So people are taking losses who people didn't think would take losses because they've been beating up idiots the whole time. Now they're fighting real people. You're seeing what the levels are.
Like now you're seeing there's only like a handful of really elite boxers.
Only a handful of people are still winning. There's like people getting found out, people surprising the crowds. And this is the thing that I like, because as I explained to you earlier in my career, I've been doing this, fighting these guys from early. A lot of boxers have dodged around it. Now there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. We've all got to meet.
And that dodging, does that come from maybe managers being really smart about who they're picking fights with?
You know, it's a catch-22. It's quite smart strategically because you're building the guy's profile. He's knocking everything out. It looks like he's the next big thing. So then everyone starts following him. he's an animal, he's a monster, like this guy's the next big thing, see the way he knocked him out, that knockout was good. It builds a hype, it builds a profile. Everyone likes entertainment, they like knockouts. So they're not even looking, they forget that they're fighting rubbish people after a while. They're just thinking, nah, he's the next big thing. So they build a profile. Eventually the buzz is so big, they start getting opportunities at the top. So it's great because it's created your profile and it's created you to get to the top. The downside is you've not got the experience on the way for when you actually get there. So it's the catch-22. Smart management to get you there, but if you ain't got the right experience when you get there, you're going to come up short.
That's really interesting. Why do we call you Spider? Why is it? And can I just say, you know, I have a real fear of spiders. I really don't like it.
Can I tell you a secret? Actually, it's not really a secret. It's on camera now, isn't it? Do you know, I didn't like spiders myself.
Did you
but
not?
since I started being called Spider, I'm not even scared of them no more. No, but actually, let me tell you the truth though, yeah? I got into my place one day, I got home from training, and I thought I could see something sticking out of like a pipe. I said, please don't be this. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I rang my friend, I said, yo, it's on top, you know, what's going on? Where are you? I'm like, bro, the maddest spider's like, bro, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, get a slipper, man. I'm like, no, bro, this one is crazy. Like, it's not no ordinary
so similar, Craig.
It's big.
Yeah.
He's like, just do it. So I'm there, we've got him on video call, bleach, brooms, spraying and running. I'm kind of like, easy. Yeah. Eventually, I dropped him, yeah? I was stamping away, I got him out of there, yeah?
And if you look how tall Craig is,
I got him out of there. But imagine the worst thing that happened to me. I came in the next day from training. I didn't know it must have been pregnant while I was so big. There was bare little spiders just grew. I grabbed the Hoover before they moved, took every one of them out, and then just threw the Hoover out.
Oh my god, that is actually my worst fear.
Because I heard that they can grow in the Hoovers and stuff. I thought, I ain't risking this. I hoovered everything and just threw the Hoover out.
So this is why you wanted to be called Spider?
No. Let me actually, no. But sorry, that was my...
That story is awful.
That was my literal... that was my skin thing.
Your fear.
Me and my friends
I never thought you were scared of anything.
Nah, but I wasn't scared. I just didn't like them.
You were scared.
After that, a little bit. Now after that, I see spiders. I'm like, oh, spider. Like, I'm actually cool with them now. Like, if I see them. But the reason they called me Spider, which I hated the name originally, I was sparring. I kept hitting people from everywhere. They was like, feels like I'm getting rushed. This guy can't have 2 arms. Like, he's catching me from everywhere. Like, you sure someone else ain't involved? And manager was like, no, that's why we call him Spider, he's got more than 2 arms. So everyone thought I was getting rushed, and that's why the name Spider came. And at first he's like, yeah, we'll call you Spider. I was like, no, you're not calling me Spider, that name's dead. And he was like, no, Spider. And I was literally, my friend got wind. I was to come to the end of bants me, they were like, hey, Spider. Yeah, I was like, stop calling me that, I swear now. Yeah, I was pissed, and then obviously eventually it grew on me.
And now you love it.
Yeah, I love it now, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of, you know what it is I like about it? It's like, when I box, in the boxing world, I'm Spider. And I came out and I'm Craig. I'm Craig. And it's like, if I get abused online, I'll sit and laugh with someone like, oh, look at Spider getting abused. Look what he said about him. It's like 2 different characters. I can be Spider in boxing and I can be Craig on normal day-to-day life.
That's interesting. I never realised that's what it was. I've always wondered why it would be called Spider.
I know, it's a weird name, isn't it? It's like most people want to be called the Lion or like
something
the
like
Silverback.
really aggressive.
Yeah, not just the Spider.
But now we understand why. Okay, thank you so much for coming on Sofa Talks. It's been really insightful. You've got so much information to give.
I know, I've probably been chewing everyone's ear.
No, to be fair, we wish I would have loved to have had more time with you, even a whole day, just to listen to your stories.
Lockdown and no company, right?
Same here, it's alright. I understand. But no, it's been really good, and you know, I just want to say I'm so excited to see what happens in your future.
Thank you.
You continue to just like blow us away.
Oh, appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to keep seeing how you grow, doing your platforms and this, and I wish you all the best on that also.
Thank you, Craig.
It's very good stuff you're doing. And also, on that note, can I just shout out a couple of my sponsors?
I was going to say, plug yourself, go for it.
You know, I just want to shout out my sponsors like Lewis Access. They've been like helping me through camp. Art, new sponsor, they've been on board doing great things. Capital Waste. Sean the Print Town has been with me from the start. The Mill Team, everyone knows the Mill Team.
I want to know the Mill Team.
The Mill Team. all of my sponsors, 4-Way Elite from America, they're an American agency who sponsor me from abroad. Got to shout them out, shout out my guy Trey, and also Elite Fleet Care. I've got to shout that out, and Everlast as well. So I just want to thank all my sponsors for being behind me and keep supporting.
A whole heap of sponsors and a whole heap of support.
Well, we need that. This is what I'm saying. In the pandemic, things like that, sponsors get you through. They're giving you money monthly and stuff. This is the sort of things that help us financially. So we
appreciate you, sponsors.
And we appreciate all the supporters. Everyone has been behind me, supporting me, buying tickets, obviously, before the pandemic and on my socials and stuff. Got to shout them out, and obviously my family and my friends also. So
humble, honestly. Such a hard-working, humble guy.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's it, guys. See you for another episode of Sofa Talks. Ooh.